Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to our Bhagavatam Stuti series. Today's shloka is shloka number 23 of chapter 7, canto number 1. Tvamadyah purushah sakshat
Tvamadyah purushah sakshat
Ishwarah prakritev parah
Ishvara prakrute paraha
Mayam vyudasya chichaktya
Mayam vyudasya chit shaktya
Kaivalye sthita atmani.
Kaivalye stita atmani.
Word for word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Tvam Adyaha.
Tvam adyaha.
You are the original.
You are the original.
Purushaha.
Purushaha.
The enjoying personality.
The enjoying personality.
Sakshat.
Sakshat.
Directly.
Directly.
Ishvaraha.
Ishvaraha.
The controller.
The controller.
Prakritehe.
Prakrutehe.
Of material nature.
Of material nature.
Paraha.
Paraha.
Transcendental.
Transcendental.
Mayam.
Mayam.
The material energy.
The material energy.
Vyudasya.
Vyudasya.
One who has thrown aside.
One who has thrown aside.
Chit Shaktya.
Chit Shaktya.
By dint of internal potency.
By dint of internal potency.
Kaivalye.
Kaivalye.
In pure eternal knowledge and bliss.
In pure eternal knowledge and bliss.
Sthitaha.
Stitaha.
Placed.
Placed.
Atmani.
Atmani.
Own self.
Own self.
Translation. You are the original personality of Godhead.
You are the original personality of Godhead.
Who expands himself.
Who expands himself.
All over the creations.
All over the creations.
And is transcendental to material energy.
And is transcendental to material energy.
You have cast away the effects.
You have cast away the effects
of the material energy.
Of the material energy.
By dint of your spiritual potency.
By dint of your spiritual potency.
You are always situated.
You are always situated.
In eternal bliss.
In eternal bliss.
And transcendental knowledge.
And transcendental knowledge.
So in yesterday's purport, we were reading how Srila Prabhupada said, we have to accept that Arjuna is one of the authoritative sources because he has had so many interactions with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in the shloka yesterday, Arjuna was saying, my dear Lord, anybody who takes shelter at your lotus feet automatically develops that fearlessness. So a devotee is fearless because you learn to become completely dependent on the Lord. So that's what the true meaning of shelter is. So in this particular purport for the 23rd shloka, Prabhupada writes, the Lord states in the Bhagavad Gita that one who surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Lord can get release from the clutches of nescience. Krishna is just like the sun, and Maya or material existence is just like darkness. Wherever there is the light of the sun, darkness or ignorance at once vanquishes. One of the classes we were saying, if the sun exists, darkness exists, right? You only know darkness because of the sun. In the sense, certain things are present because of the presence of something else. So when the sun is there, it is light. When the sun is not there, it is darkness. So the best means to get out of the world of ignorance is suggested here. The Lord is addressed herein as the original personality of Godhead. From him, all other personalities of Godhead expand. The all-pervasive Lord Vishnu is Lord Krishna's plenary portion or expansion. The Lord expands himself in innumerable forms of Godhead and living beings along with his different energies. So in this particular shloka, Arjuna is saying, you are the original personality of Godhead. Tvamadyah purushah sakshat. So there is no dispute about this. as to who is Krishna Bhagavan. The Lord expands himself in innumerable forms of Godhead and living beings along with his different energies. So that means we also come from the Supreme Lord. And all the Shakti potencies that we see also come from the Supreme Lord. So the sum total of everything is only Sri Krishna. There's nothing else outside of Sri Krishna. That means all of us are part of Krishna, including matter is a part of Krishna. They are just exhibitions of his different energy potencies. But Sri Krishna is the original primeval Lord from whom everything emanates. The all-pervasive feature of the Lord experienced within the manifested world is also a partial representation of the Lord. So the all-pervasive feature of the Lord is Paramatma. Who is Paramatma for each universe? It's Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Who is Paramatma for every Jivatma and all the atoms within each of the universes and the planetary systems? That is Kshirodakashaya Vishnu. So you can say there are two Paramatmas. The Paramatma within each Brahmanda that allows that Brahmanda to exist, and the Paramatma within each of the Jivatmas and all of the atoms, which is all-pervasive. So the all-pervasive feature of the Lord experienced within the manifested world is also a partial representation of the Lord. So Paramatma is just a partial feature. I think in one of the purports or classes that I heard, Srila Prabhupada says that Paramatma doesn't exist in the spiritual world. The feature of the Paramatma is that Paramatma accompanies the Jivatma everywhere they go. So if the Jivatma is already in the spiritual world, there is no need for Paramatma because there is already Parabrahman there and Bhagavan there. So therefore, Paramatma is included within him. He is the absolute personality of Godhead. He has nothing to do with the actions and reactions of the material manifestation because he is far above the material creation. So just as the Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita that Maya Devi is my energy and she works under my supervision. Darkness is a perverse representation of the sun. And therefore, the existence of darkness depends on the existence of the sun. But in the sun proper, there is no trace of darkness. So when you are facing the sun, you will not see your shadow. The minute you turn away from the sun, then you are able to see your shadow. Same way, if you face Krishna, you're going to experience Krishna's energy. You're going to experience that bliss. The minute you turn away from Krishna, you come under the clutches of Maya Devi's dark shadow. So essentially, just like the material world, Prabhupada writes in the 15th chapter, in the very first shloka, that the material world is a perverse reflection of the spiritual world. Similarly, Prabhupada is writing here that darkness is a perverse representation of the sun. And therefore, the existence of darkness depends on the existence of the sun. But in the sun proper, there is no trace of darkness. As the sun is full of light only, similarly, the absolute personality of Godhead, beyond the material existence, is full of bliss. So it is only natural that if you come in contact with Krishna, you will experience bliss. Now, the quantum of bliss that you experience is going to be based on the level of your purity. The pureness of your consciousness will determine the quantum of bliss. Of course, we can't even use the word quantum because Krishna is unlimited. That means even our bliss could be and should be unlimited. He's not only full of bliss, but also full of transcendental variegatedness, meaning the Lord is full of different qualities that makes it so enjoyable for us to hear his pastimes. Transcendence is not at all static, but full of dynamic variegatedness. So it's not that Lord is just this white light, and that's it. There is no variety besides that. The Lord is full of variety of emotions. In one of the classes that we were listening to of His Grace Mahatma Das, Srila Prabhupada's disciple, he was saying that Krishna has feelings too. So I was listening to that fourth seminar, day 4, and Maharaj was saying that you may think Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. I am like a teeny weeny thing. How can I hurt Krishna's feelings? Many a times we'll think like that, we don't have the capacity to hurt Krishna because Krishna is all powerful. But Maharaj was explaining very nicely that Krishna is very sensitive. He gets his feelings hurt if we don't pay attention to him, if we're not attentive during chanting. So we should not think Krishna is so huge, I am so insignificant. How can an insignificant person cause any harm, any hurt, any feelings of distress to someone who is the Supreme Lord? You see, once you have re-established your relationship with Krishna, Maharaj was saying, oh, today Navadvipa Mataji did not do good rounds. I'm so hurt. She forgot me today. She's just mechanically chanting. So Krishna's feelings get hurt. So therefore there is variety in Krishna. Yes, but at the same time we say he is Atmanam, he is all blissful, he is fully self-satisfied, he is not dependent on your love. But Krishna wants to be dependent on your love. Not that he is, but it's just a loving exchange between two personalities, between the Supreme Lord and the Jivatma. Therefore, Prabhupada is writing, he is not only full of bliss, but also full of transcendental variegativeness. Transcendence is not at all static, but full of dynamic variegativeness. He is distinct from the material nature, which is complicated by the 3 modes of material nature, the 3 gunas. He is Parama, or the chief. Therefore, he is absolute. He has manifold energies. Manifold means several, innumerable. And through his diverse energies, he creates, manifests, maintains, and destroys the material world. So ultimately, it is Krishna who's doing everything. He is creating, he manifests everything, he maintains everything, and he also destroys it. Of course, he does this through his plenary expansions of the Purusha avatars, the Vishnu avatars. In his own abode, however, everything is eternal and absolute. So there is no concept of creation when it comes to the spiritual world because it always existed. Now, this is something we have a very hard time understanding. How can something always exist? You always assume that creation happened at some point in time, both for the material world as well as the spiritual world. But because Krishna always existed, you have always existed, spiritual world has always existed. It is just that the material world manifests at a certain frequency. The manifestation is very different than the existence itself. This is also something that we're not able to understand. So Prabhupada is writing, in his own abode, however, everything is eternal and absolute. The world is not conducted by the energies or powerful agents by themselves, but by the potent, all-powerful with all energies. That means Shaktiman is actually driving everything. Shaktiman is controlling his energies. And therefore, all of the energies, including Maya Devi, are subservient to the Supreme Lord. Their sole purpose is to please the Supreme Lord. So both the inferior energy, the marginal energy, and the Lord's internal spiritual potency, all are meant to please the Supreme. So here you can see how Arjuna is glorifying the Lord in this particular verse.